Hey everybody, welcome to episode 70 of Founders Gyan and thanks for tuning in. This week we are talking to Vineet Arya, a marketing expert who runs his own firm called Outsource CMO, and the topic of discussion today is outsourcing of non-core functions. Do check out foundersgyan.com/EP70 for the show notes for links to all that we talk about on the show. Alright, let's get started right away. Hey everybody, today we have Vineet Arya. He's the founder and CEO of OutsourcedCMO.in. Vineet is a marketing veteran and we are going to talk about outsourcing of non-core functions. So when we talk about outsourcing, usually we talk about, everybody knows IT outsourcing, that's very common, but we are going to be talking about other outsourcing that you as a startup can do. So Vineet, why don't you introduce yourself first?
All right, thanks Ram, and thanks for having me on the show. I'll be more than happy to share all my experiences going forward in this podcast. Right, so firstly about my introduction, I've been marketing, communications, brand, probably a whole 360 degrees of marketing expert, and I've been in the corporate world for about 20 years, and then for the past 2.5 years I've been working dedicatedly for startups and SME and SMBs. While I was in the corporate world, I have been in major leadership positions, managing the corporate marketing functions for MNCs like AMD, SanDisk, and Tata Power Solar, etc. And that's where I got all the exposure of all the verticals of marketing possibly exist in this world. And then in 2014 is that when I stopped and paused and thought about myself, Vineet, what are we doing in life, just working for big companies? And then that is when I decided, the entrepreneur industry or the startup industry was booming, especially in Bangalore, which is probably the third biggest startup city in the world. Who can have a much? This is the best place in India probably for the startup ecosystem to involve, and that's when I jumped into that, and I made up a point that I would now support all the budding entrepreneurs or the entrepreneurs who are in the cusp of stepping out and scaling the business operations and help them in terms of marketing, lead generations, brand, communications, primarily because every entrepreneur would want to have a very, very experienced people to be part of the core team, and seldom it's not easy to get those people, right? And it's very difficult to also find the right wavelength, match the objectives, the vision of an entrepreneur, and that's precisely the gap that I try and fill, limited to marketing. That I work as an outsourced CMO.
Right. So talk to us more about this outsourced CMO concept. What is this all about?
So outsourced CMO primarily, as I told you, is to fill the gap of having a experienced, seasoned marketing person at a very affordable cost. So let's take it for example, if there is an entrepreneur right now, he's got some funding, maybe an angel fund or a seed fund, or maybe good enough money that now he wants to launch his product and take it to the consumer. The consumer can be the B2B or B2C. Now he wants to do some marketing, right? Now he has two options. He has got three options. In fact, he can either hire his own team. Now that's a very difficult question that every entrepreneur asks. What kind of team should I hire? Should I hire a junior team? Should I hire a middle managed team? Or should I hire a senior team? And every team has its own advantages and disadvantages, right? You hire a senior team, that comes at a huge cost, which probably an entrepreneur is not able to afford. A junior or middle management team is good to go with, but then who will manage that team? That's option number one. Option number two, he can say that, okay, I don't want to create any more team. I'll probably use the help of agencies who can deliver the work. But then who will manage the agencies? Again, because if you leave the agencies on its own, then things may or may not go in the right direction unless you have a very, very good or agency who's aligned with your vision. Because agencies, I feel, are also a different company, and they have to protect their bottom line. And third is they use outsourced CMO, wherein what I do basically, or what we do as a team, that we work as a part of a team, right? We are in fact as a pseudo employee of all the companies that we work with, sitting in their office, using their infrastructure, working with the team of the startup and manage marketing. So it's like a plug and play. You need marketing, we start the marketing in 24 hours time. We work as a team. The outside world in fact knows that actually we are a part of the team. So
part of your company.
Part of the company, right? So if I work for X startup, I will carry the visiting card of that particular startup as a CMO. I will use their email ID, I will use their phone number, so that the outside world assume that Vineet Arya or the team member of Vineet Arya is working for that team, whereas we are not. So this actually solves the purpose of hiring a 20-year experienced marketing guy and not pay exorbitant salary, whereas at a very affordable. When I say affordable, model works both in terms of convertible options plus cash, which helps the entrepreneur to also manage the flow of money or that he has been set up aside for the human infrastructure. So that's the basic premise of outsource CMO.
Now we are going to talk about the outsourcing of non-core functions, which I think is kind of little different because everybody knows, like I said in the introduction, about outsourcing their core functions like IT, probably hiring people. Yes, when they want to hire somebody, they hire an agency. But what are some of the other things that people can actually outsource in a startup? Maybe we'll start with that. What else is there that we can outsource?
I think to my experience, I've seen a lot of startups actually surviving on outsourcing, and it works well for them because when you're new and you have very limited money to spend and you're not sure whether what kind of team that you have to create for your startup, it works well. There are two things to it, Ram. I mean, I would always advise that for any entrepreneur, the core team should be his, and probably then you can start using some of the outsourced services. For example, in HR, outsource HR or outsource CFO kind of a thing has been prevalent in this industry for quite some time now. People have been using a lot of these heavy duty finance professionals like CAs and asking them to manage their whole finance function, right from accounting to bookkeeping to compliances and all that. It just makes sense, because why do you want to create that function in-house when there's something and you have to just follow the procedure, right? You have to just follow the process. And the guy with experience can also tell you what he should be doing from the day one, rather than you figuring it out yourself in the next couple of months. Similarly for HR, right? Hiring in startups is a big thing nowadays, but then it really becomes difficult when you need to really switch off with employees, right? So if you are in a cusp wherein you're moving from 10 to 50 and 50 to 100 and then 2,000 employees, yes, there is always a time that you need to be outsourced. So in the initial stage, you can definitely live with outsource. But then if you have a 100, 200, 300 employees company, you should have an HR manager of your own. I mean, there's no doubt about that, right? But then initially for hiring, now HR manager can be there are other other functions that HR manager does. But within the HR, for example, hiring parts can still be outsourced. HR compliances can still be outsourced, right? So similarly in IT, a lot of companies outsource a lot of the IT projects, which makes sense. If you have to develop an app, you have to develop a particular product, which is not something which is like in-house, or which is, you're working on a very patented technology. It just makes sense, to get it done from outside, or take the help of an, outsourcing companies who can come and deliver to you at a fixed time, deliverables and all that. But it all depends on what stage of the company is. There are stages where the company, it makes more financially beneficial to outsource, and sometimes it may not be.
Okay, so you mentioned one word. You're saying like startups should concentrate on their core business and try and outsource everything else at the start, at least. Now, very interesting question. I don't know if there's an easy answer to this or not, but what exactly is the core of a startup? If I'm a startup and let's say I have a product, then what becomes my core? Is the core of my product selling the product, or building the product, or or getting users on board? What would you say? I know it's not an easy answer. I don't expect an instant answer from you, but how does a company decide what is its core?
So core is always the, let's say when you are an entrepreneur starting his journey, right? Obviously he's thought about what he needs to do, whether he's developing a product, whether he's developing a new service, or he's developing a new kind of IT services or whatever it is. He should be focusing only on that, right? all the things, because what happens is as a CEO or as an entrepreneur of a particular startup, you need to manage the whole business, which means all the functions, finance, HR, IT, back end, admin, everything has to be managed. So you don't want to get defocused, right? So let's say if you are a product company and you are thought of a product which needs to be built, your 90% energy should go only on that product, because if that product is not successful, I don't need to say what is going to happen. But how the journey of building that product, now there are a lot of things. You need people. When you need people, you need processes. Okay, you need finances. You need IT support, right? So an entrepreneur has to decide if this is something which for me doesn't become a road show or roadblock in my journey of developing that product. Just take an external help to start off with. So if you get defocused and suddenly then you figure out that your core objective was to develop that product and you have a deadline, you figure out that I need to get this product out for beta testing in the next 6 months, but then you figure out that first 3 months you're just struggling to get the things into place, then obviously you're going to falter down the line. And that's all about entrepreneurship is like, people do sweat a lot. It's not a easy journey. People do have sleepless nights, but I'm saying cut down all the frills, right?
Unnecessary work.
Yeah, right? Give it to the people who know the best, right? Give them with the target, the mandate, the objective, and they will deliver. And then you just focus on single-minded objective of getting that product out.
Right. So I think one of the benefits of outsourcing non-core functions is, as you mentioned, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Basically, I think that's the term I would use. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. There are people out there are companies out there who do all these things. So are there any other benefits apart from the fact that you get more time to concentrate on your core product, or does that benefit kind of like is good enough, or do you see other benefits in outsourcing non-core functions?
See, apart from saving time, sometimes it might not be, I've seen entrepreneurs actually saying that, if I, give it to a particular agency or a particular company to manage the mandate for you, it might just become slightly more expensive. Fair enough. But then you figure out what the opportunity cost is, right? You might have to save some cost, but then you delay it, your journey or getting the product out for a couple of months. Do you want to afford that? So I wouldn't say that it might just be financially feasible all the time, right? But there's always an opportunity cost, because if you have to get the product out in the market in the next 6 months, it better be out in the next 6 months, right? Why do you want to delay it for another 3 months? Because you need to build up the other infrastructure to start your company or to build your company, right? That is one. Second thing is also, if you get the right set of people, Ram, what happens is ultimately it finally depends on getting the right set of people. If you get the right set of people to work with you, everything works out smoothly. If you don't get, then whether you hire or you don't hire, the problem remains the same, right? You still struggle with the same problem. What's a guarantee that if you hire a person, a senior guy in your team, he will be a fit for your company? Same goes with that. If you hire a company to do a project for you, right? What's a guarantee that it will be delivered? The only thing that you really risk on is the credentials, whether it's a company or for the people, right? So I would say the risk is both, right? The only thing is that getting the companies to work for you on board and relieving them is much more easier process than hiring and firing a people, which I think always as a personal human being, it's always tough,
right?
To hire, it's not easy to hire a good set of people, and then it's equally difficult to let go the person as well.
Right. Okay. So there's also the human element apart from the time, and of course financially it might be a bit more expensive, but then again in the long run it should even out and maybe be beneficial.
And that's precisely, I have to enter, that's precisely the outsourcing models. We are not expensive. That's that's a whole thing that I try to figure it out, saying that, when you hire a CMO, a person working, a 20-year person asking a salary, and probably what we work for is 1/5 the cost. And I have enough and more case studies to prove that the deliverables have been exactly the same. So the problem that you
same thing happens in other functions also.
Absolutely.
Now that's a very interesting point that you made. Now, where do we find these like outsourcing companies? Do we just search on the net for, say, I want to outsource my, I'm just picking something from my notes here, IT, for example. I just want to outsource my IT support, basically. So what, do I just search in Google IT outsourcing?
There are a lot of people, there are a lot of companies, there are a lot of freelancers, there are a lot of companies which are available. Yes, Google is the mother of all searches. There's no doubt about that. But then obviously I think it's better you should also look out and talk to some people who have used the thing, because references, you know, I'm a marketing guy. However technically qualified this world becomes, the personal reference is the best tool of marketing. It's always better to use that, because then you will know, and most importantly, have a very heart-to-heart discussion to see whether the person whom you are giving the mandate of doing the particular task is aligned with your vision. See, what happens is, let's take the fact we are living in a very practical world, Ram, right? Everybody has to ensure that there is a bottom line, right? Unless you start working pro bono, that's a separate issue.
Correct.
But I always feel pro bono also doesn't work any advantages in certain situations, right? So there's always, everybody would have to take care of what he gets in return financially. So, and there are people who are ready to work because of the skills that they get onto the table, and that skills can be used by multiple people, and that's why you divide the cost, and that's what we call it as a shared cost, right? So it's very important that the company or the person that we are entrusting with shares the vision. He has a lot of passion and enthusiasm to work for, right? Because
work for your kind of startup, your product.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, he's also started sometime on his own, right?
Right.
So he probably understands the pains of how entrepreneur goes through, because he must have also struggled at some point of time in his career initially, right? So it makes more eminent sense to work. One startup should work with another startup, right? Because I've seen many times it works mutually beneficial for both.
Right. Okay. If you like this show, do follow us on Facebook and Twitter. The link is www.facebook.com/foundersgyan and twitter.com/foundersgyan. Both these provide you daily tips and articles as well as resources to help and inspire your startup. There are multiple tips per day. Some examples of these tips would be articles on the latest startups, growth hacking tips, how do you build team for startups, how to get funding, etc. So don't forget facebook.com/foundersgyan and twitter.com/foundersgyan. Excellent. Now let's get into let's talk about functions that can be outsourced. We have already talked a few: HR, IT, legal, finance, all these, marketing. Obviously, all these come into mind. Even sales, you mentioned before we started recording. These days, people are also even outsourcing sales. But are there anything that cannot be outsourced apart from your core business? Can a startup just run on outsource everything?
May not be 100% outsourcing. I don't think so, because at the end of the day, there are certain things that are going in your mind, which, right, for example, let's say an IT company, right, coming up with a SaaS-based product, right? Now you need a person, probably, see, the decision is very good. If you think you need a person 24/7 sitting in your office because the work demands his 100% attention, please take a call whether you need to hire a person or outsource it. Right? Seldom you will take a call that you hire a person, and I'll support that decision, because you need a person sitting in your office, right, working with the team, right? You need it. So for example, when you need 10 backend or IT team, why do you need a CTO? But the moment you expand your team to 50 to 100, you will need a CTO, right? So then, will that CTO can be an outsourced CTO or it has to be in-house? It depends on what the product is. Is it something that requires 100% attention? It's something which has to be developed. It's something which needs to be research and R&D done. Sure. Even in my case of model, it's not. I always say that if you have room for a CMO which you need a full time, please hire a full time CMO. It's not that you have to always use Vinit Arya. right? So initial stages to save the cost, and because the time is a key factor for you to scale up, you will need a seasoned people. But once you launch a product and it's slightly stabilized, then most of the things slowly you should start probably bringing the key functions in-house.
Sorry, from outsourcing
From
to
in-house. But some functions can still be continued,
as an
outsource. So for example, a legal guy, I don't think so you will need unless you're a legal firm or firm which
Unless you're a
requires
very
a lot
big-
of regulations,
or unless you're a very big
thing. Why do you need a a legal officer, a compliance officer in-house, right? You
Right.
can always use it. From if you're, let's say, a small company or a mid-sized company, even I have seen, why do you need a CFO, a seasoned CFO? I mean, a senior finance guy can do the business, and CFO can probably come in once in a week or twice in a week and just see whether the things are going smoothly. But yeah, the moment you become 1,000 crore company or 2,000 crore company, yes, you need a CFO. Then you need a CFO. Then there is no question of being outsourced, right?
Right. I think we went slightly off topic because I thought that was an interesting question. But I'll come back to the question that I actually was intending to ask, which is, which functions cannot be outsourced at all? In your opinion, or is there nothing like that?
Okay, CEO position cannot be outsourced. Just to answer your question. So,
Yeah, the
founding team and the initial core team, because the people who come with the fashion cannot be outsourced.
But everything else in theory can be outsourced, right? Everything else, including
In practical sense, if you ask me, there are options available for every field. You can outsource HR, you can outsource legal, you can outsource finance, you can outsource IT, you can even do outsource manufacturing. Outsource logistics, right?
Correct. These days deliveries.
Delivery, yeah. But it all depends. If you are working on a very patented kind of a technology, or you're working something very new, you need to have a people in-house. There you can't afford. So I think this question of yours is yes or no. If you're a service provider probably, and you're just not trying to build something new of your own, and you just optimizing and using the technology to optimize the play around with the disrupt some existing services, everything can be outsourced. But if you're developing something different, something new, you may not be required to outsource everything.
Okay.
So to answer your questions, it depends on vertical industry that you're working in, what stage you are in.
But probably a short answer is probably everything can be outsourced.
Probably yes. In today's world, everything can be outsourced. Yes.
Right. I even heard this very interesting story. I don't know if you have heard this story or not. It came in the news, not in the news, obviously internet. There was this guy in the US who was fired after many years because what he was doing is he was actually outsourcing his job to China, and he was a coder or something. And he was an employee at a company, and he was outsourcing his job to China and giving his VPN tokens and everything. And he didn't used to do any work, and paid 1/5 of his salary or whatever. And without doing any work, he was getting paid. And he got caught. He got caught because some IT audit or something came, and they were noticing some strange connections from China IP, and they thought somebody's hacking or something. And that's when he got found out. And he had been doing this for, believe it or not, like close to 2 years. He had been outsourcing his job for 2 years and getting all the work done. So yeah, I think that's to add an example to your point that almost everything can be outsourced.
Yes.
Now let's talk about before we get into the next question on outsourcing. I'd like to hear about the best advice you've ever heard and something you try to follow in your own life or company or startup. Sorry.
There are a lot of advices. I mean, the best ever advice when I was starting out with this outsource CMO is people told me, Vineet, you need to decide whether you want an agency or you're a outsourced person, where define your loyalties at one place. You can be loyal to two. You cannot be loyal to two sides. You have to be loyal to only one side, right? That's something which really struck me out, and saying that right, I'm still not an employee of a company that I work for, but I'm probably more loyal than an employee. Not because it's the contract or agreement if that defines that, because at the end of the day, I take a lot of pride if the startup or an SME that I work for as an outsourced CMO, if they do well, because somewhere down the line I also feel that I was the part of the journey, the success journey, right? So that's where my complete loyalty is. The day I decide, in my function, I use lot of agencies to get campaigns executed, but my loyalties are only towards the company, not towards the external people that I use for. So I think that advice really helped me to focus my actions, my thoughts, and in fact that has really worked well, because it really shows in my actions, and when it shows in my actions, the other people also notices it.
Okay, great. Now let's also talk about, since you're talking about your personal things, let's talk about your worst entrepreneurial moment and the lessons you learned from it. I know you were mentioning that this is something you've been doing for 2.5 years, out of which I think only about 6 months or so you're doing it as a company. Previously you were doing it as a freelancer and just helping out people. So tell us about your worst entrepreneurial moment.
Whenever I meet a lot of people, sometimes people find, Vineet, that's a very good pain point or the gap that you're trying to fill. But I still meet a lot of people say that no, it's not going to work out with you. Vineet, it's not possible, right? CMO has to be part of the core team. How can a person use an external person in the core team? How can an entrepreneur use an external person of the core team? And I really have to sit down and make him explain. Some people do get it, some people don't get it. It's fine. I mean, I'm no complaints, right? Because everybody has his own way of absorbing and perceiving things, and just because it's something new that is coming up in the market, because I don't think so in the past couple of years I have people used to outsource. For them, outsource marketing means giving it to an agency, right? So I'm more than a consultant, right? And a shade less than an employee. I say shade less than an employee because I don't get the salary, I get my fees, right? And I work with agencies, so I'm more than agencies, right? So it's a whole thing that I'm trying to work out with. So
it's something new that people are not
right, something new. So I do get lot of rejections till even now, right? And in fact, if you ask me, it's good for me, because the more I get rejected with my concept, the more it makes me come back, to make it successful. I said, why? Because I'm convinced, the first thing that any entrepreneur should be doing is convinced about what he's doing. Failures and success are all, going to come at, if you make bad decisions, you're bound to fail, right? You make good decisions, you're going to succeed, right? But I'm not going to live it up. I'm not in a mood to give it up, because I have tasted success with, otherwise how will I get 5 startups to work as a CMO, right? There are other people who still don't get it, right? It's like the same thing 10 years back when e-commerce started. People said, what? How can you buy online? And people just outrightly rejected it. But look at the situation today.
Right.
I think.
Right. And today, as we speak now, like there are no cash in the ATM, so people are forced to buy online things. So it's like a full 360 degrees. So I think that's great that you shared that this is still a new concept, and rejection is only making you stronger, and maybe you're building your pitch better for new companies and making your resolve stronger. So that's great. So we just have a couple of final questions. Now, what are the biggest tips and pitfalls with regards to outsourcing that comes to your mind?
One of the biggest factor in outsourcing, and trust me, even I face it, getting the right set of people. Even when I have to hire people for my own stuff, I really face a lot of difficulties. And I'm sure, getting the right people, whether as an employee or whether as a freelancing or whether as a consultant, it's a pain. I have myself, even when I was in the corporate world, and I used to face a hell amount of tough time hiring good set of people, right, with the right attitude and right passion. So that problem remains the same.
Basically, just to add to that, just because you're outsourcing doesn't mean that you just pick the cheapest or the most highest rated. So still the person compatibility needs to be there.
Absolutely. Go on. Second most important thing is that not giving the right brief See, what happens is
Right, you expect something
Yeah.
and you don't explain things.
properly, then other person will not get the clear objective in mind. So let's assume that there are two people. One is you've hired a person, right? And he's sitting with you. He's watching you daily in day out. You are right accessible in a split of a second. You don't have to think twice to access that person, right? If you need immediate attention, you can just call up the person and all that. So obviously, when you work together and you spend almost 9 to 10 hours daily, even without speaking a lot of things, you can understand what your peers or what your subordinates or what your bosses want. But when you are kind of outsourcing, now with outsourcing there are two type of things. One is a person sitting in your office, other person may not be sitting in your office. If a person is sitting in your office, things are slightly more better, and I always prefer that. I always say that if you are kind of hiring or outsourcing, make sure at least the key people are there sitting in your office if it is a long project, right? If it is a short point, fine. But if a person is not in their office, you have to be clearly crisp in your communication as to what you want. That is the time the output or delivery becomes perfect to your thing. If the communication is not crisp, if you yourself don't know what to get out of that person, then that's when then suddenly at the end of the certain time, then you figure out, I have wasted so much of money, the output is not coming. But just sit back
So
and
wrongly,
see.
you might also assume that the person is bad and repeat the same process with another company or another person and get the same results, right?
Right,
so,
absolutely.
Okay, that's a great one. Anything else with regards to tips and pitfalls with outsourcing?
And I mean, even if the guy is not, you've outsourced it, just treat it as a part of your own team. Make him feel there are a lot of things that money can't buy. The respect that you give. Lot many times people. And I really hate this word called vendor. You just tell this vendor to do this. I mean, okay, fine, he's your vendor, fine, no problem. But then at the end of the day, he's working for you, right? Working for you, which will actually benefit you. Even if there's a small printer, treat him as a part of your team, as if he's a printer employed by you.
Right.
And I have done it myself, and it really given me wonders when you really treat them as a part of the team. They go an extra mile to do that, right?
Correct.
So this is my serious suggestions that you may say that, okay, this is my team member and this is my outsourced contract employees.
Yeah, becomes an us versus them kind of,
right?
them kind of situation.
Trust me, they are as good or as bad a people as your employees are.
Right.
If there's something that treat them at par, and these are the biggest pitfall I see, that your mindset, you say that, okay, I'm outsourcing it, their job is to deliver.
Right, I'm paying them, so they better have to do it,
right,
come hell or high water.
But when you give a salary, you don't say that, hey, I'm paying your salary, you deliver. I mean, that's something not many people do. So why do we do that, right?
Right. I think that's a great pitfall that you mentioned, and I think a lot of companies have this different rules. I mean, it's not a written rule, but it's kind of like you treat your employees one way, you treat your outsourced people another way, which cannot be good in the long run. Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I have one question. When you do any celebration in your office, do you ever call the outsourced people or contract people? How many companies do that? Trust me, the companies who do that are the very successful companies. I mean, they've also contributed something to your success, right? So give them a part of a success.
Yeah. Great point there, Vineet. Thank you so much. Now, are there any tools, resources, or books for learning more about this? I have not come across many such things in. I think outsourcing is kind of like a dark.
I always say to everybody, there is something called live book, which has got your experience. Learn from your experience, implement in the present, and plan for the future. See, a lot of people, by reading book, reading articles, doing research is a very, very good habit. But nobody else can teach better than what you've experienced, right? So there's no standard book of outsourcing that I've come across that actually can give you a lot of solutions to the thing. You have to define your own problem and then figure out a solution for yourself. As I said, these are the things which are not unique or universal for everybody. Everybody has their own different challenges and all that. But my only thing is, when there is a problem or things, figure it out. Whether should I hire a person and what utility I'll get, or whether can I give it to a outside company and with the same deliverables, and how fast and what agility can it bring to the table, right? If you're able to sort this out, I think you don't need to read any book for that.
Okay, excellent. I have one final question, but before we go to that, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Best way to contact me is to write an email or to call me. My email is vineet@outsourcedcmo.in.
Right.
Or they can call me on my mobile number, which is 98802-16421.
Okay,
And
we will link that on the show notes. Are you active on Twitter, Facebook?
I'm active on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, all three.
All three. Okay, so people can reach out to you.
Sure.
Not just in terms of getting an outsourced CMO in their company, but also to discuss startups and.
Oh, absolutely. I've been very active in the startup industry. I've given a lot of sessions on people on entrepreneurship in various forums, and I really feel happy from inside if I can contribute something.
You contribute to
Yep.
what were the companies you said?
NASCOM. I've been 91 Springboard, Beehive,
Right.
Upgrad.
Right.
A lot of places.
So Vineet is a regular contributor to all these forums and places. So I would urge you guys, if you have any questions about startups and outsourcing or just about anything with regards to startup, Vineet is your guy. He has a ton of experience. So please do make sure you reach out to him. So with that, we'll move on to the final question. So I'm really thankful to you, Vineet, for taking this time out and spending your valuable time with me and our listeners. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
So the final question is, this is how I end my interview, so probably I've already prepared for this, so I don't know, but let me see if I can catch you by surprise there. So what would be your one gyan with regards to outsourcing for startups? Only one gyan. Forget that I'm going to just imagine that I'm going to chop out everything and just play the intro and this gyan. What would that be?
Define your core of your core or your heart of your startup. Focus on that. All the portions besides your heart can be artificially connected. Your limbs, your muscles, everything can be taken from outside and get connected to your heart, right? And focus on that, right? If you start focusing on the whole body from the day one, you going to seriously land up in a lot of complicated stuff. So make your life simple. The only way to make your life simple is concentrate on the core stuff. Rest all the frills around that. You can take the help of people outside, and there are tons of people who are experts and are willing to help.
Okay, excellent, Gyan. Vineet, thank you so much for that. It was a real pleasure chatting with you, and for our listeners, we will be back with Vineet in an upcoming episode where we'll talk more about low-cost marketing for startups. Thank you so much, Vineet.
Welcome, Ram.
That's it for today, folks. Hope you enjoyed the show. Vineet will be back next week, and we are going to be talking about low-cost marketing for startups. So be sure to tune in next week. You don't want to miss that. Also, check out the show notes for today's show at foundersgyan.com/EP70 and do take action on your own startup. Good luck and bye for now.